Hello everyone, this is Jeff of TAOFLEDERMAUS. We have an interesting project today that is more like rocketry and less like 12-gauge slugs, but this is a 12-gauge slug. And because this is a pretty complicated project, it's taken me a long time to finally get to the test. The projectiles were constructed by Saar of Israel, but the design comes from Germany by another man called Heinz. The general idea is that we have a subsonic projectile that is very long but very nose heavy. Now this part, to my understanding, is the gas seal. It has a very small hole which allows the propellant gases to blast through there and kind of preheat the chamber inside that projectile. And then the air entering through the nose is heated up, expands, and is supposed to cause it to accelerate. So, yeah, it's a little bit complicated to make this all happen on my end. Now, the projectile has a heavy brass nose, and the body is made out of magnesium. And magnesium was chosen due to its low density, much lower than that of even aluminum. And that allows us to move the center of gravity way out towards the nose. Now, these projectiles are quite long, measuring around 1 13/16 of an inch, or 46 millimeters to keep it simple. Now, we'll be using a very short X12X gas seal that has a tiny little pinhole pierced through the center of it. And the projectile itself will be riding inside a two-piece discarding sabot. And as you can see, there's not a lot of extra room inside that 3-inch 12-gauge shell. Now, in case the hot gases from the powder alone is not enough to heat up that chamber, I've made some little kind of heat generators here. And if needed, these can be inserted into the cavity there to heat it up even more. And of course, coming up with something that burnt not too fast and not too slow was a task in itself. And in order to get the airflow going through the center of that, these have to be shot at a subsonic velocity. So I've got to try to get these things traveling around 1,000 feet per second for that to happen. At supersonic speeds, we would have a bow shock wave at the nose that would prevent any airflow from traveling through the center. Well, it's time to get on with the test and see how these things perform. For today's test, we'll be using the Mossberg 500, Danny's old shotgun, and it is fit with a smoothbore for the first test. The gun is mounted in a rest with a remote trigger designed by Brian from Cincinnati. Now, the shells have not been roll crimped. This is so I can make field modifications if needed, like remove that little heat generator, add it, or whatever. Now, we only have 6 of these, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to shoot into the dummy that has a Kevlar vest, and I'm hoping to be able to capture a couple of them intact so that they can be reused. So instead of just 6 tests, maybe we can get like 7 or 8. And the target is set up at 20 yards, and I'm just hoping these will be accurate enough to hit it. Let's see how it does. Okay, here we go. Everything's safe in the background. Let's do it. Oh boy. Yeah, I was aiming directly at that center mass there. Everything's safe in the background. Let's do it. Oh boy. Now this test, again, we're using a smoothbore and no heat generator inserted into it. And unfortunately, we just did not obtain any kind of stability. The accuracy was really bad because of that too. Now the only good news here is we did achieve the velocity we're looking for. It was 990 feet per second, so definitely subsonic. So I'm actually kind of happy that I got my recipe right for the test. Next, we'll use the heat generator and also the full rifled barrel. Let's see if they do. Let's hit it. Looks like a hit, I think. Now in this test, we can clearly see that the heat generator ignited with that big black cloud of smoke. And it also kind of smelled like fireworks. Now, unfortunately, on this shot, the nose and the tail assembly came apart. And both of them actually hit the dummy. One hit him in the kind of left shoulder, and the other one the body of it hit the top of the right shoulder, our left, but the right shoulder. And unfortunately, that can sometimes happen just from inertia. Now, the velocity of that one was 998 feet per second, right in the envelope that we were looking for, but sometimes physics comes in and rears its ugly head. Okay, we're going to try another one, aim a little bit lower. Maybe this one will function. Here we go. There we go. Now this one was a little bit faster at 1,048 feet per second, and it held together, and looks like it was a pretty decent shot. Hit kind of low, but I did aim a little bit low on that shot. But it seemed to be flying pretty stable, so that's a good sign. Now remember, one of my goals was to catch it in the Kevlar vest, and we were able to do that. This is what it looks like. The nose is a little bit beat up looking, and it is packed full of cloth and Kevlar and all kinds of stuff. The heat generator is completely burned out, and it smells again like fireworks inside, and you can see how much cloth and other material are stuck in the nose there. So that one we can reuse. So, whew. Now we'll be able to load this into an extra shell that I had prepared, and we'll try it again with new sabots and everything else. Let's see how that does. Okay, this is the one we just shot and recovered, and I reloaded it. And let's give it another shot. Let's see. Here we go. Change the camera angle a little bit. It's like a hit. Change the camera angle a little bit. I must have been so hyper focused on this project that my high-speed camera shots are just terrible today. I apologize for that. But I wanted to get a shot of it leaving the barrel. We can see a big fireball from the heat generator and all the black smoke. And we can kind of see that the projectile was more or less stable flying, and fortunately accurate enough to hit that big Kevlar vest. They're not accurate enough to hit anything smaller than that, it looks like. And for the record, that one was traveling at 1,027 feet per second. Believe it or not, I was able to recover that one. It's pretty hot. A lot hotter than look how much fabric it chewed up there. I'm surprised. Still a little banged up and not terrible. We can use that one again if we need to. It smells like fireworks. Okay, let's try another one. This one has not been shot before. All right, here we go. Okay, that one looked pretty accurate. Now this one was traveling at 1,102 feet per second, which is about 0.98 Mach, and not super stable. It was kind of corkscrewing in there, but it kind of flew in there nose first. But it more or less hit where I was aiming. So that was probably the best flight so far. And I was able to recover that one. I didn't find it at the time. I just found it like a day later after I tested these, but very similar to the damage of that other one we recovered. Since I was so confident with that last shot as far as the accuracy goes, I decided to move the target back to 26 yards from 20 yards, which is now at about 23.7 meters. Here we go. And that looked like a miss. Here we go. Again, not the most beautiful, stable flying projectile we've ever seen, but you know what? It actually hit him in the arm, so we'll count that as a hit, right? In fact, we'd be calling him Lefty now. Look at all that debris from that heat generator. And then there was like a paper patch wrapped around the Slug. I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, this is our last one. Yay! This has not been a very satisfying test, I have to say that. We'll talk about that a little later. Still at 26 yards. Let's see if we can finally hit it. Hit it! Uh-oh. We got some kind of a failure there. On this test, we had what is called a squib. The primer went off. Looks like our heat generator lit up fine, but no powder ignition. And I'm kind of surprised we didn't have more of these problems. Trying to get these slugs down to, 1,000 feet per second can be a little bit challenging. Now, the slug itself managed to travel about 6 inches down the barrel and was very stuck in there. I had to knock it out with a steel ramrod. But fortunately, I was able to reload it and give it another try. Maybe we can hit this thing at 26 yards. Here we go. There we go. That was a pretty good one. Here we go. There we go. On this final shot, it seemed to behave pretty well. A little bit of a speed wobble to it, but the accuracy was pretty decent. It hit the top of the vest and actually went through the vest. It cut through that Kevlar. Now, for me, this was a very, very frustrating test. I wanted to do it right, and I think I did everything correctly on my end. Getting the velocities right, loading them right, getting the sabos the right fit and all that stuff. But to be completely honest, I don't know if this design did what it was supposed to do, where it was supposed to accelerate even faster as it goes down range. I don't see any evidence of that. But I'll tell you what, you never know until you try, and I was hoping we'd see some kind of magic from these things, but I'm just glad it's over with. Poor Saul and Heinz have been waiting a long time for me to test these things, and I'm kind of relieved to get it over with, but I was hoping the results would be a little more stellar. At least the last shot was, it looked like it was doing really well. It went through the vest, even at that velocity, that hard brass sharp nose just cuts through the Kevlar, even at about 1,000 feet per second, and went out the back there. There you go. Pretty impressive. For a low velocity subsonic slug, that's pretty good. Very troublesome, hard to get these things to work. But yeah, not the most illustrious test we've ever done, but still it was kind of interesting, and we left on a high note here with a nice accurate shot.